This video today is all about relationships. And I'm not just talking relationships with other people, with your family, with your friends, with your coworkers, or with your partner if you have one. I'm really talking about this relationship that you have with yourself. No longer putting your needs on the back burner. No longer taking somebody else's phone call or returning their text when you're right in the middle of doing some deep, meaningful work. Okay, no longer blowing off your yoga session or your workout session because you stayed out a little bit too late and you're hungover, or because your best friend called you and they're all upset because they broke up with their boyfriend and they need you running to them. So you blow off yourself, the yoga session, the personal training session, or maybe this book club that you had that night that's about this really good book, some book on personal development. You've been really excited to talk about the topic. Like, it's no longer blowing yourself off, abandoning yourself to show up for other people. You can still show up for other people, really support them in the middle of a crisis or a really tough time. And you'll be able to do so, show up for them better if you learn how to meet your needs first. Listen, I'm a mom. I have a 3-year-old. In my 40s, I'm 41. Life has changed a lot. And this year, I have gotten really good at taking care of myself physically, mentally, emotionally. When I take care of these things for myself, when I show up for me, okay, and I really prioritize myself, I get my workout in, I get a good night's sleep, I eat something healthy, okay, I don't lose myself in social media. Let's say you have somebody who is in your life, right? It's a dysfunctional relationship, or just very unhealthy with a family member, okay? And they're calling you in the middle of a crisis, and they can usually get you worked up, and then they get more worked up, and then you guys are at it. That's not going to happen. There's not even going to be an invitation for that to happen if you start prioritizing yourself and really commit to building a healthy psychological and physical relationship with yourself, first and foremost. All right? So, a luxury mindset, okay, in this context, in this video today, is most importantly, the relationship you have with yourself will determine the relationship quality and dynamics that you have with other people. All right. Do you have a challenging parent in your life? Do you have a challenging sibling in your life? Do you have a challenging friend in your life, right? Like, you don't they're a really good person, all of them, the parent, the sibling, the friend, they mean well, right? Most of the time they're really good people, but they just have a lot of stuff going on in their life and they don't know how to work on their stuff to then show up as a grounded person who can just be emotionally healthy. Do you know what I'm saying? And when you are talking to them or spending time with them, it's almost as if it's like you're their therapist, or it's as if it's like, dude, I have to feel like I constantly have to defend myself or protect my energy. These dynamics, these situations will happen a lot less often if you are to take care of yourself and your needs, really prioritize self-care, okay, your own mental and emotional health first. You're going to nip it in the bud. You're going to say, hey, look, I can tell you're having a tough time. How about X, Y, Z? You're going to give some options on how they can help themselves so you can protect your energy, so you can protect your well-being. So in other words, this is called boundaries. I have challenging people. We all do, right? But just in this personal story, I have a challenging parent, sibling, friend. This year was since I started prioritizing myself, right? After having a baby and, a few years experience there, I started putting myself again this year, 2025. I have been boundary queen. And it may come off harsh. It might come off a little mean, or it might come off insensitive. But I was always respectful and compassionate and loving and honest, okay, and vulnerable, and really just clear on, okay, when we talk about these topics, or when when you show up in this emotional state, or when we talk about these topics, I don't feel, I don't want to. I don't feel I'm the person to be talking about these things with, or this is draining me, or I'm just kind of tired of it, right? Because I feel like I'm just getting dumped on. You'll be able to, this is just an example, voice that true feeling with confidence, with compassion, with love, because you have been intentional with taking care of your own emotional health and physical health, right? You've been going on your daily walks. You've been showing up to your personal training sessions. You've been getting a good night's sleep. You have decided to not drink that much so you can sleep better and feel stronger. You have decided to limit your social media use so you no longer feel like you're going crazy or comparing yourself to everybody. That's what I mean. When you take care of and pour in and invest and work really hard on improving, on transforming, on creating better habits, okay? And prioritizing yourself, when you've been really intentional and committed and keeping up to your promises in this relationship with yourself, does this make sense? Okay? You take care of you, you break old habits, you replace old habits with new ones, you quit some things that aren't working for you anymore, drinking too much, too much phone, too much social media, too much, saying you're going to do something and you're not going to do it. You're eating out less. You're cooking yourself healthier meals. Okay. You're getting proper rest. Like when you start working on this relationship with yourself, these healthier habits with yourself, you're learning how to reparent yourself. Okay. You're learning how to create self-respecting boundaries with yourself and with your old ways. You're going to be able to show up more effortlessly in these relationships with other people. You're going to attract and call in healthier relationships, new friends, new girlfriends, women friends in adulthood who are able to meet you where you're at your level, okay? Like emotionally, psychologically, right? You're going to notice how you attract people to where you share similar values, similar goals, okay, similar priorities, high vibrational people instead of low vibrational people in conversations. I remember I was hanging out with a friend. She's a great person. And one of our common things that we would do together back when I wasn't my best self was drinking wine nights. When you are having wine nights, when you're drinking, your conversations aren't as high level. They're a bit more gossipy, judgy. Okay, not really talking about the future and goals and the life that you want. They're not as high quality. They're not. Because your mind is not as high quality in its right state because it's being altered by substance. Your values are going to change, your goals are going to change, so your conversations are going to change, or your time availability is going to change with the people who are used to you texting them back right away, or who are used to you picking up their phone call every time they call, or who are used to you going out to eat all the time. It's not going to happen anymore. When you create these healthier habits of, eating better, exercising, getting better rest, reading personal development books, you're not going to show up in the way that you used to show up, which is I got to drop everything I'm doing to see what they need or see what they want. Okay. All right. I really hope that this is landing and making sense. I really feel like 2026 can be a year of self-respect for you. If you are just motivated, okay, and just inspired to change your ways. I think a lot of significant change happens for women once they are at a certain stage in life. They just get sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's usually in the 30s or 40s, and sometimes a little later for some of us. But when things get bad enough, or when you're just tired of feeling not your best, you start changing your ways. And here's the thing. When you start changing your ways, your relationships are going to change. Not, maybe some of the people, but more likely just the dynamic of the relationship with the people, because you can't change your parents, you can't change your siblings. I mean, you can change your friends. You like, they might fall to the side for a little bit and then you meet some new people. But like when you start showing up differently, that without you even realizing, that's you taking your power back and having power to change the circuitry of everything that's happening. People will meet you where you're at. And if they're not able to meet you where you're at, more in a high vibration, then they're not going to show up as much. This is what a luxury mindset is. One of the biggest pieces of having a luxury mindset is the dynamic of your relationships. How high quality are they? How high vibrational are they? How elevated are they? How healthy are they? Okay, how inspiring are they? How aspiring are they? Right? So the more higher they are, vibration, energetic, okay, elevated, your relationships are, starting with yourself. Remember, you start with you, then all your other relationships will change. That is a big piece of creating a luxury mindset. This is just something I'm super passionate about, is the relationship you have with yourself. Because when you start up leveling that, it gives you so much power and energy and confidence to pretty much change your entire life. But it takes practice, commitment, falling, busting your lip, getting up, trying again, doing things through fear, through shaking, through turning red, through sweating. It's it takes work, right? So I hope this was helpful. If it was, please give it a thumbs up. Definitely subscribe if you want to keep following me in this a luxury mindset series. I'm going to do another video next week about health, like your health and fitness, your physical health. If you want to follow along with me and get notified of that, go ahead and subscribe. And yeah, I really hope this was helpful for you today. All right, my love. See you next week. Thank you for watching today. Bye for now.